What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm the guy from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I'm joined by two guys that went together this week, and they won an auction for $30,000 on a Pamela Anderson Baywatch swimsuit from Heritage Auctions, right?
I can't believe it went so
somebody
low.
Finally spending their Drew Jones money.
I can't believe it went so low.
But these guys' names are Joe Day and EP Erkahalik. How you doing, guys?
wait a minute. If EP spending the Drew Jones money, does that mean I kicked in like $28,000 of the 30? Because I know he doesn't have any other money. It's just the Drew Jones money.
It just keeps growing.
It multiplies.
We've established this. Drew Jones money is like never ending.
It's like putting your money into a preferred savings account, man. He's getting
Exactly.
5% like that.
Compounding every hour.
Compounding hourly.
That hasn't been a month.
No.
Since it came out.
Oh, how's it going, boys?
Great.
I'm doing good. I actually got a crowler here.
Whoa.
So this is 32 ounces. This is from, if you're in the central PA Camp Hill area, Isaac's Brewery. Isaac's is actually a really nice restaurant. They start brewing their own beer. This is called Drink With Your Mask On, and it's 6.49%. It's a crowler. I cracked it open over the sink because I was afraid it might explode because they hand seal these at the restaurant.
Why would
right?
you not do it on camera?
Because all of these expensive cards over here would be
amazing.
covered in beer. Luckily,
They get the content.
right. So, EP, I'm going to need some sound effects from you, if you could.
All right. Yep.
All right.
All right.
And go. There we go.
Wow.
Cheers. Thank you, EP.
My God, look at that.
It's amazing.
Oh my God, the mouth is way bigger too, so it's just like oozing into my face. That didn't sound great.
Wow.
But yeah, there we go. Cheers. Tasty.
Wow. Well, we know Joe's going to be doing pretty well. This won't be the first podcast this week a panelist ends up drunk on, but
and I wasn't the first. I wasn't
no,
the first.
no, you're not. Oh, how's it going, EP?
It's going great. This week I recorded a video of opening a box of Bowman Inception University, and
I hope you did better than I did.
it was a 2 minutes and 27 seconds, and I ended up deleting it because it was just the most boring
so
2 minutes and 27 seconds. Like I got two autos. One's an offensive lineman. One of the autos sold for 99 cents, like just like a week earlier, and the other one was a $12 auto sold for $12 previously. I did get this. The cards are awesome. Oh, upside down. The cards are really cool looking. But I got this Anthony Richardson card. I'll keep that one for sure. But other than that, like I got no names that I recognized, so it wasn't great. I do hope that my opening of Series 2, Top Series 2, which is happening later this week. I hope that's better.
Get the lights, Joe.
I'm excited.
I know, right? I'm just gonna get my Whoopie over there, cover up.
I'm gonna have some
while
coffee.
you
We have a jam-packed show, so we're not gonna be able to talk about it. But Striker Breaks did his thing where he looked at it. It looks like the hobby is the best ones to buy as far as getting parallels. I got the jumbos again, just because you're guaranteed at least one auto per box, and I think you increase your upside if you're getting autos. So
are we doing a live stream of this?
Well, I got to work Wednesday. It's coming Wednesday. I got to work. I'm not sure. It depends on how early it arrives. We'll see. I would like to, but it all depends on. I have to work. I'm off Thursday, so if I get it late, we might be able to open it Thursday. So we'll see.
Okay.
Maybe we plan to do it Thursday. I would prefer to open it Wednesday if I can, but.
Well, if we decide to do it, I'll tweet it out and let everybody know. Make sure you follow me at Mike Sepperdeck 1 on Twitter and keep you updated on EP's 2023 top status. Series 2. We're on Series 2. EP, were we a little too excited about Bowman Inception University?
A little bit,
yeah. I think.
Yeah. By the way, you should have left that boring ass video so we people want to see the L's, baby.
I think the thing is though, like I wasn't like outraged because like I knew it was coming, right? But like $175 for 7 cards and you get absolutely nothing out of it is horrible. Like if you're talking about an investment, and it's a horrible way to spend $175 for enjoyment too. only 7 cards. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but I wasn't nearly outraged enough because I kind of expected it to not be great.
What's-
Yeah,
what's
So,
the line?
your bar
feel-
was pretty low with that.
Yeah,
from the start, yeah.
What's the line from Vegas Vacation? Why don't we just go out back? You hand me $175. I kick you in the balls. We call it a day. Like that's really.
that would,
I mean,
would have
that's
been a
what-
better investment than Bowman and September.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely would have. Oh, yeah. Oh, so did you guys, which one of you had the gold prism PSA 10 rock card? And which one of you had the PSA 8?
I thought it was Joe. I thought.
Joe, you had the
I
10?
think I had
That's
the
right.
10.
You're mad because your PSA
My-
10 just sold for less than EP's PSA 8 sold for in January, right?
Yeah. It's almost like fluctuating prices have affected every market, including modern wrestling. It's kind of shocking, I know.
I was shocked by that too. Like I just assumed every card sale would just, stack on top of the last one.
That's how it works,
keep
right?
going up.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, I
The
would.
ladder.
I mean, I'm still definitely happy with my $126,000 purchase of the Rock 1-1 because
Oh, it
I'm
actually
sure
sold?
I'm sure. Well, I don't know. It still says pending on PWCC, so I don't know. But yeah, it's sold. Everybody knows it's sold. The guy's been posting it all over social media. No.
I mean, when you see something on social media, you know it's true. So we're good there. Yep.
You would think though, if you bought that card and you were all excited to have it, you would be posting pictures of it by now, right? Like it's been
Right.
a month plus, so I
I would have a picture with me holding it.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I mean,
kind of like, hold on.
you do have to wonder.
Like this.
Exactly. Wow. What a visual. Yeah, so yeah, I'm disappointed for you, Joe. I really thought you were gonna get like $250,000.
I thought I was going to get a gazillion dollars. Gazillion. Yep.
But all is not lost. Because I was digging through cards at the card shop again this week,
Shocking.
and I found it.
Yes.
Golf
Channel icon and hero, friend of the podcast, whether he knows it or not,
clap.
Tom Savage. Look at that RPA. That is a sweet.
That's a
That's
nice
a
card, man.
two-color.
That's a really
That's a
nice card.
two-color.
Man.
It's a sticker auto, so but yeah, I do
but
like
it blends
it.
it really well.
They do blend it
pretty well.
very well. Tops does a good job, or they
Mhm.
did.
Very excited to have that.
So I almost had a line to Tom Savage. My buddy thought he played golf with him, but it was actually another nothing pick quarterback he played golf with recently. And I'm like,
But
damn
don't
it,
all
I
those
was
guys
so
know
close.
each other? All
You
the
would think.
former
So I'm
pick
like, maybe you
quarterbacks?
could.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
sure there's some kind of connection there.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm still
you know-
working on it, boys. I'm still working on trying to get Tom Savage on this podcast.
I also have this, which reminds me, we need to figure out what date. What do you want to do? The first podcast in July? Should we
Okay.
reveal the counts on our little competition? For those
we
that
can.
don't remember,
Tell the folks, Mike.
we all decided earlier this year that we were going to have a little competition. We were all going to pick one card and see who could accumulate the most copies of the one card. So this is mine. I have one. I don't know if you guys have more than one or not, but
Yeah, I call
1987
BS
Topps
on that.
card-
Yeah, he's got more than one.
Mike has a 3,000 count box with him.
Don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know. But yeah.
He made some
the-
Facebook deal with some shady person in like New Berlin or something, or Winfield. It's like
For all the people that don't know, that's where Topps used to be located.
Mhm.
So
Oh.
yeah. I don't think they're there anymore.
negative.
No. So all right, well, let's get into it. We're sitting here chatting like we don't have anything important to talk about. I don't know
Important's
if
a
you
relative
guys.
term, to be fair.
Well, hey, I have a big list of stuff right here, so we got to get to it. I don't know if you guys heard or not, but the Panini corporate offices were broken into this week. Apparently somebody just went in and started busting down walls and took out computers and servers, and really hasn't been anything else reported. We don't really know what all was taken. That broke into the CEO, broke through the wall into the CEO's office. So I'm guessing maybe quite a bit more stuff might have been taken. I'm like, people are talking about cards and redemptions. I would assume the corporate offices aren't where that stuff is. They have a fulfillment center where that stuff is.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean, we know that, right? But the somebody who is brash enough to break into a place like that probably isn't thinking
That's
about
true.
that.
They
You know
might
what I
have been
mean?
looking for cards. But here's my first question is, isn't there an easier way to steal information from computers and servers in like
No, you
2023?
need the
Oh,
physical
wait, wait, wait.
computer. You need to pick it up and take it.
I feel like there are ways to get in there without having to physically get in there, right? Aren't there ways to
Again,
do
these
that?
are the same kind of people think I need the computer are also thinking they probably should have the cards right there in the building.
I was really hoping, Mike, when you started talking, that you weren't going to step on my joke. There's got to be easier ways to get your CD Lamb redemption, right? I mean, when I saw that Panini's headquarters broken into, I'm like, that dude just got 600 Panini points, and he really wants to make sure he gets that card. I'm like, that was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Oh,
Do you think he was like rummaging around trying to find where they keep the points at? Where are the points? I want to find all the points.
I want all those points.
probably.
I
Yeah.
heard Joe Day has a Tom Savage card trading for Panini points. It was one of our
Well,
listeners.
you know, yeah. Now that you say that, we did just let
We
people
did.
know, and now this happens.
Yeah.
And can I also say, randomly, my Ramondre Stevenson autograph that's been with them for over a year now that I requested a replacement for like long ago that they haven't even sent. All of a sudden, that's being delivered tomorrow. So
Coincidence?
maybe I had
Mhm.
something to do with it. I don't
I was
know.
gonna say, where were you guys last week? Well, I need to see some. EP, we know you were at work. Mike, where were you?
I was doing a wrestling podcast.
Or
Did you get
Mike was stealing corporate secrets as a member of the Fanatics team. Is that possible?
What?
Mike
What?
Mike went in, talked to the
Your
security
mic's
guard.
cutting out. Can't hear it.
He talked to the security guard for 5 minutes. Security guard's out like a light because Mike is human ambient.
I am.
And then he just busted through
This is true.
walls.
Which I
To get-
often do.
Like
we
the
often say that
Kool-Aid
about
man.
you. Yeah. Yep.
Remember, those walls I used to have at the card shop that you walked in one day and then they were gone?
I do remember
Yeah.
that.
Busted right through them. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, we like to have fun. It is a kind of funny story, but lots of people out there speculating it was an inside job of some kind. Like
You would think, right? I would think that.
like why would anybody break into their headquarters and like even if you were looking for something of value, why would you take the servers and computers?
Yeah, what does Panini have? Like what information, like what would they have that would help anybody except for another card company or somebody, a former employee, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
current employee.
And they just laid off and a bunch of employees. So I mean, did they lay off or did they just straight up fire
No, I don't
employees?
think I don't think they
Okay.
did. They just left. They all just
They
went
just
to
left.
Fanatics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It to me, I was like, yeah, this definitely feels like an inside thing. Some pissed off employee decided to have a little fun, but who knows? I mean, you've got to assume that you're, if you have any information with Panini, it's out there now, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they took,
you-
took
yeah.
the servers. Joking aside, I mean, that's if you ever used a credit card with Panini, I'd be a little nervous.
Yeah, definitely. Like Dan the Card Man has been saying, change your password right away, and that's definitely good advice. And like keep an eye on any information, like any credit cards or anything you may have used to purchase stuff from Panini, like that's at risk. Like you definitely
that's true.
would be worried about that.
They do a lot of the sales now, like or the whatever they're called, the Dutch auctions or whatever, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
like that's all handled through them, right?
Even
So that's a
something
lot of
as
info.
simple as getting a redemption, you have to pay for the shipping. I don't know if you guys, Mike, did you realize that too?
Yeah.
You have to pay for the shipping for those redemptions. So like that Tom Savage we joke around about that I got over a year ago at this point. I had to pay like $5 to get that shipped to me. I don't even think that card is worth $5, but
had that.
But yeah, I mean, I could have had that one, though he was in his pit uniform, so that's a little bit more valuable.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, if you used Panini's website for anything, it was funny. They sent an email. I think it was a few days ago at this point, and they're like, "Oh, our customer service or something is down." I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, it is." I mean, I bet you a lot of stuff is down over there at Panini right now.
You have to kind of think maybe that was part of what they did too. They wanted to like shut them down, so they took the computers and servers. I don't like. I'm guessing they probably took more than that, but we just don't know what. Maybe Panini is not even sure what was taken or anything. But I don't know. Like it just you picture like Michael Rubin dropping down like Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible and like breaking. And I don't know.
So that's how I envision Michael Rubin doing it. Brian Gray, on the other hand, just
Hulk smash.
Just Hulk smash Juggernaut.
It does
style
sound more like a
walls.
Brian Gray break-in than a Michael Rubin.
Right.
Yeah.
In that Superman outfit that he has on his card.
Yeah, so there we go. I think
we cracked it.
We cracked it.
We have a main suspect now. We have our prime suspect.
He's clearly has the strength to be able to break through walls. So
I've seen the card.
I have, yes. He's giving himself
not
away.
a drawing. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this happen at other companies. So I'm guessing it's not like it's probably, I won't say it's common, but it's probably happened elsewhere before. But I've never really heard anybody talking about it in a different company. So it feels unique to me only because I don't know the other ones. But I wonder if it's unique.
I don't know,
because I mean that's just seems like an odd. Like if you're breaking in to steal the cards, if you know what Panini is, right? Like I feel it's interesting. That's just weird.
I don't like. Would they have the cards at the corporate headquarters though?
Well, no, I mean they wouldn't. But again, I don't. A lot of people don't think about that. Like the thing is, like
smart enough to be criminals, right?
Right, and I would guess that they're like once you get that server like home or whatever and plug it in, you need to know the password to get on the server, right? So
you would hope.
You would hope.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you were intelligent enough to crack,
no, if you've seen Panini's quality control, the odds of them actually having password protection.
Yeah, the password is probably admin.
Yeah.
1 2 3 4 5
1.
Yep. Oh wow. Well, we joke, but one thing that isn't a joke was a collector named Carl Zhao who had the Jason Tatum and Lonzo Ball dual logo man redemption card that he had sent in to Panini 3 or 4 years ago now. And that card mysteriously showed up on eBay. The card he was supposed to get in the redemption that he never got showed up on eBay, and the person selling on eBay said they had bought it at the Dallas Card Show. Dallas in Texas, Irving, Texas is right around Dallas. I mean, pretty clearly, maybe some of the issues with these redemptions are they've been backdoored, right? Like that, this card has clearly been backdoored. Like there's no debating whether or not that's the card the guy was supposed to get, and it's available for sale at a card show nearby where the company headquarters is, and then it's on eBay. Like, I wonder how much this is happening.
Was it was a 1-on-1 then I assume?
Yeah,
okay.
Logo Man's, yeah.
That was my first
That's
question.
a dual logo man and autographs of both on it. So 2 logos and 2 autos.
I mean, in that case, it's absolutely.
It is the card. There's no question.
Right.
It's the card for sale is the card the guy was supposed to have.
Or how many 1-on-1s did Panini print of this card? Has anyone thought of that? I mean, it's
it is
possible.
Panini, yeah.
All right. I mean,
that's another angle.
I agree with your take, Mike, that it's probably been backdoored and now
if they're doing more than one, at least send the first one out.
At least send the first one to the guy, right? So it's a redemption, so you know they're not. They're like, oh, we can hold this redemption for a while. We'll send the other one out the back door.
Like it's possible, I guess, that they sent the logo man to somebody else who had a redemption for something else. Like somebody put the wrong card in the wrong envelope, but it feels really, it's possible, I guess. But I think it's more likely.
If it was done at a card show in Connecticut, I'd probably agree with you, EP.
Right.
But if its first stop was Dallas, it is a big card show, and people from all over the country go there for sure. Yeah. But it's just a little bit, it's kind of to be right next door
to where the company is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, boy, it really makes you wonder. Like, I with all the issues that they've had, you could see a situation where something fishy's going on. Like there are a lot of redemptions for a lot of big cards that don't get filled. Why? Like this is what drives me crazy too. You're selling the product with the promise that this is in it. And now, again, this company is trying to argue in court that redemption that they sold you a product on saying this was in there isn't really valid. It's not a contract. If you get it, they don't have to fill it. Like, think of how any other company, like, imagine, like, what world would any company outside of the sports card world, would anybody put up with that? Like,
Right.
This is not legal. You're selling me a product saying I have this in it, and then you're not providing this, and this when you're like filling the redemptions. Like that is out and out fraud. If you did that in any other business, you'd be done. But we're in sports cards, so hey, everything. Oh well, it's fine.
And this is, I assume at the time, was one of the product hits, right? Dual auto logo man 101. I mean, so you're assuming it's one of the product hits, which I'm kind of surprised it didn't show up on Backyard Breaks. But regardless, so it really is fraud, because if this is one of the cards on the checklist, and this is one of the cards that people are paying thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to try and get by opening up wax, how is this not fraud? I mean, how is this not illegal? And again, it's just collectors, water off a duck's back, man. We'll just keep on taking it. We're totally cool with it, and we'll keep on buying into breaks, and we'll keep on buying product, and we'll keep on chasing these cards that we may or may not get. I'll tell you what, just a word to the wise, and I don't even care if it's Fanatics at this point or if it's from Panini. If you get a redemption card, sell it. Sell it on eBay
right away.
Do not try and get it. Just put the card up for sale. I would not trust, no matter the company, I would not let someone else have that headache. I wouldn't want it. I would just take the money and run.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that take. Like, I've opened a lot of product, and I got I think 2 redemptions, sold one of them already. The other one I still have, but like it's definitely listed for on eBay. I'm trying to sell it just because
I feel a little safer if it's a Topps product, though. I'm sure those yours are, EP, just because Fanatics probably isn't going around, isn't going anywhere for a little while. If it's Panini, though, that's a definite sell. Sell. Right. Get that out of there.
I feel like a thought popped into my head. Like, I mean, Panini. I wouldn't think a company would do this, but I mean, you could, if you
never say that in the hobby.
Yeah.
if you have a logo man that's going to sell for $3,000, $10,000, like that's a big chunk of money that you could give to your buddy who's a card dealer for a certain amount of money. That card dealer can go sell it at a card show, and then it can end up on eBay. And I wouldn't again. I don't think anybody at Panini would do something like that. Like if it's happening, it's happening. Behind the scenes, the people in charge wouldn't know about stuff like that.
I don't think the corporate heads would do it. Because at the end of the day, that's not that much money. Even if they were doing it over and over and over again, it's better to be able to sell your product. And if collectors had any sense, they would stop buying certain products.
But that's the
thing. They kind of don't. So
people
talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
And just imagine a world if the courts end up siding with Panini. Like, think of how that's going to change the hobby. Like, I don't hear enough talk about this. If they're successful in court in getting, redemptions thrown out as a contract, if that legal precedence is set, like, what is to stop a company from saying they have all kinds of stuff in there and then never filling the redemption? Like, this is what's at stake. Like, they're already doing that, but like, that would legally allow them, oh, well, we were going to do it and they never got it to us. Like, they would use that excuse over and over and over again. And like, it would drastically change the hobby for the worse. So,
because you could just put in nothing but redemption cards.
Yeah.
And what's someone's recourse if you do that?
They have none. They would literally have none.
Again, you're talking about products like Flawless, National Treasures, Immaculate. They're, it's up to $15,000 for a box of like 10 cards. Like, to have a redemption in a product like that anyway is ridiculous. But to have a redemption in a product like that and not fulfill it, that is fraud. I mean, it's 100% fraud.
Do we know? Is there any sort of legal? Is the guy taking this to court or anything? The redemption, the guy who was supposed to get it 3 or 4 years ago.
Right. Like what's happening with him?
Is he trying to fight to get it, or fight to find out what Panini, get information about Panini or anything like that?
I haven't. The one with the dual logo, man.
The logo, yeah.
I mean, it literally just happened, I guess. So I would, if I'm him, I'm definitely taking legal action against him, and I would imagine he's probably looking into that. But yeah, I think it's just a little too early in the game. Imagine that though. You've been waiting 4 years for a redemption card, and all of a sudden you see it on eBay. Imagine that feeling.
I don't know if I've ever been as angry as I would be then. I just don't know.
I've seen you pretty angry.
That was
Would
that
it
was
be
angry,
worse
but it wasn't
than a survey at a restaurant?
Yeah, would this be worse than an Applebee's survey?
Wow.
That's all I need to know.
I think
wow.
so.
Oh,
Wow. That is
fire.
Angry.
That would be anger. Hopefully Panini does something. Hopefully Panini does something.
You have to, right?
You have to,
because
this is terrible PR. Yeah. This is terrible PR for them.
Of course.
Unbelievable.
Do they care? Which leads me into the next thing here. They're fighting to say redemption cards don't matter. They're having redemption cards that were never redeemed showing up at card shows and on eBay. Last week, we talked about them sending a dual autograph of Edge and AJ Styles out with just Edge on it. Well, this week, they're at it again. There was a Panini Contenders Justin Herbert autograph out of 25. The card was sent with no autograph on it. So 2 weeks in a row, 2 very high-profile cards, just no autograph. Maybe one time I'm willing to accept somebody made a mistake. 2 times in 2 weeks? Is it a mistake, or is it that they just don't care? We're Panini. What are you going to do about it? We're going to win our lawsuit, and you don't have any claim here. Whatever. We're losing the license. I don't care. We're going to make the money. This is going to cost us less. We don't have to bother Justin Herbert to get an autograph. So here, take a card with no auto on it. Am I close?
I mean, I hope that's not the case. I
hope that isn't the case way too much.
So I really do wonder how much of this stuff happened back in the 90s that we just don't know about, because it's completely possible stuff like this happened, because especially after the boom in the 90s when card companies started to lose money, but there wasn't social media. I'm not trying to defend Panini here either. It's just how things get through their it's kind of like PSA when things get through QA1 and QA2, and you're like, how the hell did they get past both of those?
Let me throw this out to you, though.
How did this get into an envelope and get sent out and someone didn't notice it?
But if I was supposed to get a Kobe Bryant rookie autograph from Topps in 1996 and say I didn't get it, it came back with no auto on it. In 2023, somebody would be showing that card. Those cards still exist. So just because social media didn't exist back then doesn't mean that you wouldn't see it now. So I feel like this wasn't really happening a lot back in the day, because I feel like you would see that. It'd been plenty of time when the internet has been around for over 20 years now. Pictures of those cards would exist and the story would be out there. I feel like if it was happening back.
Social media social media wasn't as big as it is, anywhere near as big and anywhere near as influential as it is.
But somebody would have the cards still.
Or they sent it back to Topps and it was made right. I mean, that's possible too. So it never really reached the level of someone saying,
so that makes it different there because they made it right.
Well, it depends on what Panini does. This stuff did just happen. I mean, if the person who got the Edge AJ Styles card reached out to Panini and they said, "Oh, tough luck," and hung up, then sure, that's terrible. If someone at Panini was like, "Oh, holy shit, we'll replace that," sorry, I'm okay with that. I mean, mistakes do happen. Panini makes them happen a lot more often than others. If this was just its own thing and it didn't come on the back of another thing, and he'd come back on the back of another thing, and another thing, and another thing, I'd give him more of a pass than I actually. It sounds like I am, but yeah, this individual thing doesn't bother me. It's just the culmination of all those.
I'm looking to see if there's a Panini written
Nope.
on the
Pitt.
underside of your hat there,
It's Pitt.
like our old friend Ziggy. No,
No.
okay.
If the cards are replaced, I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not going to carry the water like, but I mean, if they're replaced,
Call them I
don't-
see them. EP, what are your thoughts on this?
I feel like that one of the major differences between the 90s and now is we're talking like card values have like grown up exponentially. Like I mean, I don't know what that Herbert
card
auto
prices
goes for.
beyond
Well, I
that.
mean, yeah, but like so I mean like I think it's a little bit of a different world than it was back then. Like the Kobe Bryant autograph rookie might have been $1,000, Mike. I mean, like and at that time was a huge amount of money. Where if it's something like that were to come out now, a Kobe Bryant rookie card to come out in this market, it would be like a $10,000 card. So I feel like the numbers have gone up exponentially there. So I think that's another part of it. But I wonder, like, the story behind the Herbert card. Did somebody just say we ran out of Herbert stickers, so just put it in the envelope like that? It's fine. Or did the sticker come off somewhere? Was it pack pulled or was it a redemption? Because if it's a redemption, I'm like, oh my, that's
Right. I was under the impression it was a redemption.
I think it was pulled in a break.
Okay, that's even worse.
I'm seeing the picture of it in my head, so like it's a new card, so I'm guessing it wasn't a redemption. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the juxtaposition of that, and then I think the Edge AJ Styles thing is worse, because if someone is physically looking at that card, you could say, "Oh, it's the machine screwed up" or whatever.
Right.
But if someone's looking at that physical Edge AJ Styles card and put it in the top loader, put a sticker on it, put it in a bubble mailer, and send it out, that's way worse to me than something being.
But I would counter with this. Like my understanding, like you'll take a sheet of the autographs, and somebody has to put the sticker on all of those before they're cut. So, like, it's kind of like, is it any different that the person who's responsible for doing that is like, there's not one there, we'll just throw it in? Like they had to notice, like that's your job. You're putting a sticker on. I don't know how many cards were on the sheet, but like you would clearly know before you send that off when you look at it if one of them was missing. So somebody was either like, well, I mean, that feels like let's go, or
that feels like a low-level employee. Honestly, that feels like a low-level employee just being like, whatever.
Any lower than the person who's sending the redemptions out? Like,
I think so, yeah, because really? I suspect someone getting on-card redemptions has a little bit more like responsibility to have those cards actually sent off and signed. You don't think so? Like someone just literally just going through.
Well, I mean, the person sending it is not the person who's responsible for getting it signed. So
right, that's what I'm saying. The person that's responsible for the
I'm looking
thing is the person who should be getting it signed.
I'm seeing an employee that's like, this is missing an auto, or the one that's doing the sheet go, missing an auto, and I'm saying it's the same thing. Like to me, there's really no difference between the person doing the one job and doing the other. So
I think the customer service person, I mean, they should have be more worried about it. Because they're closer to the customer than
more than the person who's responsible for putting the stickers on the cards.
I think, Mike, do you think the person putting stickers on these cards is wearing a 3-piece suit and going into the office every day?
I don't think the one filling the redemption is either. That's I guess I think you're thinking that person's a much higher level employee than I feel like he is.
I think the person who is in charge of getting those cards physically autographed, I think probably is higher in the corporate food chain. I don't know though. I don't work over there.
But
I mean, Mike, what's your experience with working at Fanatics? How does Fanatics do it?
You have all these redemptions that are being sent in and everything. Do you think a high level person is the one actually picking that card up and putting it in a mailer to be sent out? No. So my point is
getting the cards autographed probably is.
But they're not the person. I'm not sure where you're going with that. Like, yeah, the person getting the autograph, but they're not the one either. They're not the person that's putting it in the pack or sending it.
Right. The person putting it in the pack is the low level employee. And I'm just saying maybe they're just lazy. Maybe the person putting in the bubble mailer is just lazy and doesn't care. That's why the AJ Styles thing to me is worse, because there's another level of person that should be involved there that's actually physically going out and getting these autographs. It's an on-card
yeah, but
autograph.
he's not talking to the person who's sending it out in the redemption. Like that person, the person gets it, they go to the place where the redemptions are filled, and then a lower level employee there gets the redemption out of whatever place and sends it to the person. I would imagine that's how it works. The person getting the autographs is long out of the mix.
But isn't that ultimately the person who the problem we have is with? Like the person going and getting.
Well, if they got it on a sticker, I don't know who put a sticker on, so I guess you'd have to determine.
That was dual on card, I believe. The Edge and AJ Styles. I think that was an on card auto.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm 99% sure that was an on card.
But still, you have a person in the redemption thing that's seeing one autograph and not going, wait, that's not right. So there's multiple levels maybe where it was wrong, but like I don't think it's much different for the person at the factory putting the stickers on, or whoever's responsible for that, or the person pulling and sending the redemption.
Again, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars in these cards. Like the quality control, like when you have somebody that's in charge of picking cards to send for redemptions, that person needs to be way better. Like you need to have way better across, like the entire chain needs to be better, right? Because for anything that's like,
but we'd probably be shocked to find out how little those people actually get paid to work.
Oh yeah, I think something we can all agree on is low level. Yeah. Is they're all low-level employees.
Right. All right. Well, we spent way too much time on that, so I'm going to move things along. So we're talking about people that need to be laid off. PSA laid off 11 employees this week. Kind of a shocker to see PSA laying off anybody with the way that machine has been rolling recently. But most of it was from like the marketing and social media departments, I think, for it. Not from all reports, there were no graders or anybody involved with the grading end or the authentication end. And it looks like it's more of just a restructuring of their marketing department. PSA said they've actually made some hires and going to continue to hire. But one of the reasons I want to bring this up is one of the people laid off was David Steinberger, who is their director of customer experience. And I just wanted to say that guy was a fantastic help for me a couple of years ago. I sent in 2 orders, a value order and express order to PSA. I had Tom Brady rookie cards that I found in my stuff, and
there's one of
them.
Yeah,
one of them up there. And they weren't graded, and they weren't graded, and they weren't graded, and they were kind of lost in the system. And I mentioned something about it on Twitter, and Nat Turner actually reached out to me, which is actually one of the cool things. He does that a lot on Twitter, which is pretty cool. I will give Nat credit for that. And he put me in touch with David Steinberger, who within 24 hours took care of the entire problem. He found the cards. He let me know what happened with them, why it happened, and apologized for it. He apologized for the customer service not being able to help me at all. And he also bumped up my value order, which, Joe, yours took 400 and some days. I got mine back in 3 months. So
yeah, I wanted them to lose my order so they could find it and send it right.
Yeah, absolutely. So David Steinberger was a huge help to me. So I was really a little disappointed when I saw he was one of the ones left off, but he's a great guy and I'm sure he'll land on his feet. But yeah, PSA laying off 11 was a little bit of a surprise.
It's a bit of a surprise for sure. But also I was thinking about it, like 11 people, I feel bad for anybody who ever loses their job for something like this, but 11 people is not a ton. And I bet you they brought it. I can't imagine the amount of PR people they probably brought in to help deal with when they had the shutdown and all that sort of. They probably jacked up the roster quite a bit, I'm guessing, to bring in a lot of people to help with everything. And because I'm like, Mike, your one isolated incident, Joe, I know you had your cards were up 400 days, and I know I think you sent them a couple emails too. Can you imagine the volume of emails and calls and everything that they were getting? The people trying to figure things out. They probably, I just picture just madness, people running back and forth, answering the phone and then running, trying to find something and stuff like that. I can only imagine what it must have been like. there, especially like early on. They probably like, okay, we got to hire people. We need to get people in here.
Yeah.
So.
I will say the worst in all of the grading that I've done since I got back in, the worst customer service I ever had was with PSA. I mean, it wasn't even just waiting. I never sent him an email, EP, actually. I never, I never asked. Because I knew everything was going so long. I mean, Mike was an isolated incident. So I wasn't one of those people. I hate when people do that. They're like, they know it's going to be over a year at that point. They should know anyway, especially during the shutdown. So, but just in general, I've never had a great experience with PSA's customer service. So I don't know if that what was his name? Like David Steinberger. David Steinberger. I don't know if he had direct control over that portion of it. I don't know if it's gotten better since, but I mean, my suspicion is maybe not. And, while he was great for Mike, maybe just in general, he wasn't giving the customer experiences as well as maybe he did for Mike.
Well, I mean, I had a good conversation with him, and he, at the time, I'm talking middle of 2021, like he was openly honest about.
Did he call you? He called you.
He called, he called me, and like I got this like California number, and I didn't answer it because I didn't know what it was, and got the voicemail, and I called him back right away. But yeah, he was very honest about their customer service issues, and we've talked about that a lot. So like, I don't think there's anything anybody in his position can really do.
Right.
PSA, we've talked about this. They need to ramp up their customer service. Like, you're going to grow your business. You want to be able to grade 1 million cards a month. Like, you need to have the customer service ramped up so you can help people. Like, it's not acceptable to have to wait 48 hours to hope somebody gets back to you with an email. You need to have that department needs to grow, and they're still way behind on what they need to do with that. And I hope at some point they take it a little more seriously and, build that area up to be able to handle the volume that they have.
I mean, they're obviously have a lot less volume than PSA, but HGA, BGS, SGC, I interacted with all 3 of their customer service departments. All of them were phenomenal. Quick responses. The one person from BGS actually got back to me. I sent an email on Friday. They got back to me on Monday and apologized for not getting back to me until Monday. I'm like, it's the weekend, bro. You're good. You're good. And I had great customer experiences with them. And I realize, EP, to your point, they do handle a lot more orders. They have a lot more cards than these other companies, but that means they should have a lot more customer service representatives as well. So, I mean, I think that's a little bit of a cop out saying, oh, they have so many cards, it's too busy for them. They should have a massive customer service department.
Yeah, they really should.
And maybe again, this guy was great for you, but maybe some of the people that were let go or people who were hired, during that craziness, and maybe they're not.
It's not as crazy now.
It's not not as crazy, but maybe they aren't quite the people that they need. That they hire people because they needed people to fill the spots, and they created these positions. And maybe these are people that are like, okay, well, we need to upgrade these spots.
Wow, dissing my boy.
Not him.
Put up with that on my podcast. I am editing all of that out.
Not Mr. Steinberger, of course, but just I mean, maybe they just felt like they needed a change. Maybe the restructuring. Who knows?
Mike was very emotional during this layoff. He texted us, and he was in a bad spot. He had a few drinks.
I'm sure that he'll land on his feet, but like, I mean, all I know
we
is
need
my
PR
experience
here
with him, and like, to have somebody in all of that craziness at that company actually be able to help. Like, I mean, I greatly appreciate him and the help that he gave me, like, because there were a lot of people out there that didn't get that help. And, a lot of people that I'm sure if he would have known about would have tried to help out a little more. But like the craziness of having cards missing for months, that boom, just like that. Like, I talked to customer service like 4 or 5 times. Nobody could tell me anything. And he figured it out in 24 hours, less than 24 hours.
But if he was in charge of customer service, I mean, that That
He's
just
not in
tells
charge of customer service,
he wasn't
customer
customer
relations. Yeah, that's a different,
Okay.
different thing.
I
But
wonder
yeah,
I wonder if any of this is like linked to a specific incident, like something that got graded that shouldn't have got graded, or maybe they researched and found out who allowed a fake autograph to get through, or something along those
He
lines.
graded one of
That's
Nat Turner's
like,
cards an 8 instead of a 10. I mean, there's
that
all
would be
sorts
it
of.
right
I
there.
mean, not that
That
these
would
guys
be
are the,
the
not,
right-
not these guys are the graders or anything, but I wonder if they like mishandled something. Or, I don't wonder if it's just tied to any
EP
sort of
wearing the
specific incident.
tinfoil hat. This is a little different for him
Yeah.
than normal. He's usually the news guy, like everything makes sense. But no,
I
he's
was
got the
defending
tinfoil
Panini.
hat.
I had
EP's
eight
wearing a
cup-
tinfoil hat. Dogs and cats living together.
I had
Mass
8 cups of
hysteria.
coffee this morning.
hysteria. Oh, PSA graded 1 million cards again last month. We were going to bring that up a little bit down. They're down like 70. They were like 1.2 million the last couple times. So down 200,000, which is quite a bit. And now they're running a $15 special for any sports cards for $19.90 to now. Kind of think there might be a correlation there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Call me crazy. Am I wearing the tinfoil hat, or the number of cards graded dropped? So they're like, okay, we need to get cards in here. Just anything from 90 above.
They're going to go up to 1.5 million next year. I mean,
Whoa.
they're. I mean, like maybe not. That's quite a bit, but I feel like that they're definitely going to get a result, because I'm one of these people who I've been holding on to these cards, waiting for a price similar to this to send in some 1996 Kobe Bryant, some 2000 Tom Brady's that are they're not like 10s and they're not the high end ones. So like this is like my wheelhouse kind of situation for
I have
me,
a lot too. And this is really the last, like they haven't done that 1990 through the last couple years thing. So, they're going to finally get that out there. They're including the new stuff too, because people obviously have new stuff that'll always be graded, but kind of makes you wonder where their numbers are going to go after this special. Like,
Right.
I feel like the drop in price overall might be coming, because they've done the vintage special, like the pre-90 special. They've done, the trading cards a couple times. They're doing the 90 to now. Like they're out of categories to run a special for. So,
yeah.
So, last September, Mike, you said on the pod, you prognosticated that in 6 months from last September, PSA would be down to $10 to $12 a card.
yeah, they didn't get there yet.
They didn't get there yet. But also on that podcast, you said if they are not, you will send in
Didn't say that.
all my Burt Emanuel rookie cards to be graded by PSA.
I never said that.
So, as a friend,
You have no proof.
I am telling you now. No, I definitely recorded all of that. As a friend,
Mike's going in right now to delete the video.
All right. Well, moving on. EP, you sent me this one out earlier this week. DraftKings is now going to be
I'm back, baby. I'm
physical
back.
cards. They are now.
These are all the
doing-
Burt Emanuel
No,
cards.
we moved on.
$15 a pop.
No, see, okay. So, so yeah, EP sent me out earlier this week that DraftKings now.
Can you see him in the green room at all? Can you see what he's doing?
But yeah, can I get to DraftKings? A couple of weeks ago, we talked about DraftKings running a break, and now it appears that they're actually adding a marketplace where they're going to add auctions of cards to the break. So yeah, we now have another big company. Oh, hi Joe, how you doing? We're talking about DraftKings.
I'm just basking in my glory here. I'm just.
We're talking about DraftKings. Yeah, DraftKings auctioning physical cards now. We know they did NFTs and stuff too, but like we talk about big boy companies, we have another big boy company getting into the card marketplace. Like my question is, you have a company, Fanatics is a $30 billion company. DraftKings is like a $10.5 billion company. They're getting into the marketplace side. Fanatics getting into the marketplace side. eBay has it. PSA is going to be sold, right? I'm going to say it right here, right now. I don't know how soon.
In 6 months. Oh.
But PSA is going to be sold. Like, they're a $4 billion company. They're a big company, but they're also a company that was like bought by a group of investors that like to buy things up, build it up, and flip it at a profit. So I think that the fact that you see these other companies, big companies, getting into this, I think PSA is going to end up being sold at the end of the day at some point down the line here. Thoughts?
I mean, a $4 billion company is still a pretty big boy company,
and a third of DraftKings,
a third of DraftKings,
like
right?
a seventh of Fanatics.
Yeah.
So.
You might be right, Mike. I will say I'd be very disappointed if Fanatics bought it. I'd be less so if DraftKings did, because whatever, like, they don't manufacture cards.
Right.
So I would have less of an issue if a company like Fanatics bought PSA. Because I could see that. I mean, or a company like DraftKings, I could see them purchasing PSA, and because again, they do have the money. Fanatics, on the other hand, I don't think they would ever purchase PSA outright.
I don't either.
I think they would. We talked about this last week. I think
the DraftKings thing in the marketplace, they're having, PSA has a marketplace with Golden. That kind of what got me thinking that. I mean, we see corporations buying up big corporations everywhere in the United States. Like, that's
right. Didn't we just say, like, a couple of weeks ago, it's going to come down to like 3 companies are going to control everything. Like,
and I feel like
DraftKings
is seeing that, there's money to be made in this. So I mean, I don't know if they'll buy PSA, but I feel like somebody will end up buying PSA at some point.
Yeah, I don't feel like DraftKings isn't that far off of a shot. Like, I'm sure they did well with their break. I'm sure they're like, oh my god, everybody wants to do this. This is huge, and they're like, well, if we buy PSA, then we could also grade with the biggest grader, and so we would get everybody to buy into our breaks and our things, and because we would have
on
a
our
deal with
marketplace,
PSA, sell on our marketplace. Yeah, I mean,
like the Golden marketplace is pretty popular because of the collectors owning it and having the ability to send from your vault right to there. So.
And
it's
doesn't
not
PWCC,
eBay, but
PWCC has like the deal with. Do they have a deal with CSG as well, where they like you can get your stuff like go right through them? So I mean, like, if you're building a marketplace, you're probably thinking at least making deals with people to.
Right, ComC has a deal with CSG.
Yep.
Yeah, they do too.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's completely possible. To your point about the break EP, they saw it as probably a test case, like how popular, because that break in it of itself didn't make them that much money, in the grand scheme of DraftKings.
But
they're seeing the interest,
right. Yeah.
And like I said a couple of weeks ago, if they kind of stay in that lane and just could you imagine if they started just buying like super high end stuff and selling breaks like that? Like, that would be a really cool niche market where they're buying boxes of 86 Fleer basketball and things like that. I think that would be really interesting. I don't see them, going out and doing what Leighton does and ripping boxes of Donruss or Score.
But they already have the gamblers built into their platform.
And what more high-end gambling is there than ripping cases of Flawless, Flawless, Eminence, all of those products? That's right up their alley.
But like, how great would it be then, like, to kind of steal the Fanatics model of, okay, we're going to break this, and then you can send it to the #1 grader PSA and put it in a vault to save it, because you're a gambler and you don't care about the card, you care about the value of it. So like, I could actually see the benefit in that. Like, we've talked about, as collectors, we don't want to get a card in a break and send it to the grader and send it to a vault and never touch it. People who are just doing this for monetary reasons or gambling would have no problem with that. That would fit right in, right, EP?
Oh yeah, definitely. And also, they, like you were talking about, their like, they have this built-in base of gamblers who also have, some of them, lots and lots of money in an account that they share between their DFS stuff and their actual gambling, the buying, the betting on stuff. And now it's just going to also be part of this marketplace. They got all this cash, these people sitting here with all these huge accounts, I'm guessing, lots of money. So here's another way to spend money on our platform. Like,
hey, we're going to get, what was Luca's year, 2018? Hey, we're going to get some 2018 cases of Flawless. And since you're one of our preferred gamblers, we're going to sell you a spot for X amount of dollars.
Oh,
And you could pull a Luka RPA that's worth whatever. I mean, that could be huge for them. That could be really, really huge for them. So,
and the dude that hit huge on DraftKings because of Luka or somebody like that, like they're going to get those. Oh my gosh, like this is part of my legacy on this website. I need to get into this break. Like there's so many different avenues, so many different things. Like that's actually a perfect storm for DraftKings if they could.
I feel like that is what Fanatics wants to have. Like Fanatics is getting into the gambling. Like everybody who's talking about the cards kind of isn't bringing the gambling part into it. They want to be a gambling company. They're going to make way more money like having people betting on sports than they're going to with cards. But the way they could integrate everything together would be fantastic. But I feel like DraftKings is like 2 steps ahead of where they are right now, because they have the biggest user base, I would imagine, of gamblers, sports bettors out there. So they already have a lot of that in place. And I do kind of think they're kind of taking Fanatics' path and beating them to it a little bit.
Well, I was going to go the other route and say, Fanatics, you're trying to step on us with trying to do gambling. We're going to step on you and start doing card stuff. So stay in your lane, Fanatics, is probably what they're saying to them. Stay in your lane, and you do your card thing and your memorabilia, and we do the betting. But if you're going to get into the betting, then hey, we're a big boy company too. We're gonna put some money into this card thing. We don't have to produce cards, but we can make money other ways.
Yeah. Make money on the way people make money on them. So
Yep.
Instead of having Topps and Panini fighting it out in a couple of years, we might have Fanatics and DraftKings fighting it out. Like,
I mean, you could see
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, you could see DraftKings like increasing their value so much just by adding this one other arm.
DraftKings buys Panini.
Nah. Maybe.
I mean,
they don't have
is
any
it any
licenses,
crazy?
though, so that wouldn't really.
But they could get
but
those
buying
retired
PSA
rookies.
would be way bigger than buying Panini, though. That would be,
for sure.
That'd be huge. I don't know if it happens. You heard it here first. If it doesn't happen, we were just spitballing.
Yeah, you'll just mute the person.
Absolutely.
And take them off screen.
Well, just gonna throw this one out here. This doesn't really mean anything, but Pokemon made 9.7 billion cards in the last year, bringing their all-time total to 52.9 billion cards.
That's why they're number one graded card. That's why they are the highest graded card.
Well, they release a platform like last one was Sword and Shield, this one is Scarlet and Violet, but then on those platforms they release 20 different sets, like it's like 6 different sets a year or something like that. Like, I mean, it's wild, and people buy them up. It's not like they're like, I'm sure there's still some shelves here and there, but like people, there are a lot of people buying them, right? Like that's a huge.
It's going to be
they're not making them because people aren't buying them. They're making them because people aren't buying them.
It's going to be so weird though when Disney's game just totally blows them off the map. Yeah.
I'm going to go out and say that they're probably not going to even make like 1,000 cards after that comes out, right? They'll be totally done for.
Yeah,
9.7 billion.
That's
the crazy thing is, like, if they have a really popular set, they'll reprint it. They'll bring it out again. Like, so part of that is there's just people, and that will sell, like, because people love the cards from that set. You know, the different characters. Like, it's. Well,
EP, you're our Pokemon kind of expert and are one of our baseball experts. So my question to you is, what's been printed more, Pokemon or 1989 Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie? I mean, is it pretty close?
I mean, I would say Pokemon probably takes it, but it's by a nose. It's not by a lot, you know.
It's by a Pikachu.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of old baseball cards, I'm going to wrap things up this week with a cool little story I saw. Mike Cramer, you know, the guy that used to
Cramer's Choice
Pacific trading cards, Cramer's Choice Awards were named after him. He's writing a book that's going to be released in September. It's called, let's see, did I write the name down? I didn't write the name down, but
that's a weird book name.
I know. But I do have a title.
Well.
Let me get it here. It's called Cramer's Choice: Memoirs of a Baseball Card Collector Turned Manufacturer. And I mean, I'm not a big book reader. I'd rather watch a movie. Read books takes too long. But I want to read this book. He's gonna tell all the stories and stuff that he has, including the story of the Manny Ramirez Invincible 2000 corked bat. There was a lot of, they bought bats up. They found a piece that was corked. It made it in a card. People said it was a publicity stunt. A lot of people, newer collectors probably don't have any idea about this, but there's actually a bat card that has cork in it from one of Sammy Sosa's bats. And it caused quite a rage back at the time. And he's going to tell the story about that. He said it absolutely was not a publicity stunt. They actually stopped production. He went back through and they found others that had the cork that they pulled out. But I mean, for that story alone, whatever that book cost, I will pay it. But, Mike Cramer, Pacific trading cards, we talk about it all the time. They were so innovative, so far ahead of their time. That company came out now, they would be huge. A lot of the innovations that they came up with are still around today. They had some stuff that didn't really land either, but that was what was cool. They were always what was so trying great. Something.
Right.
Yeah. You're not gonna go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say, people talk about, Panini Prism. Well, that was a Pacific product. Crown Royal, Pacific product. When you see some of these Disco and the weird refractor, that was all Pacific. And I'm not a reader either, Mike. I mean, I can't imagine someone reading a newspaper. That would just put me to sleep. But I would read this book. I wonder if there's an audio book version, maybe.
That would be great. I
could get the audio.
Yeah,
wait, EP. Yeah. We'll pay for the book. Mike and I'll split it. Okay.
You read it to us.
You read it, but record you reading it.
Okay.
And then we'll listen to it.
How much am I getting paid to do this? How much am I getting paid to do this?
It's for the pod, man.
No, nope. I refuse.
What?
Wow.
Wow.
Listen, I am not your slave. I will not. I refuse.
It's for the viewers. Everybody in the comments below, tell him they want to hear.
They don't
because that way they
don't want to hear me talking for hours upon hours about reading a book to them.
Yeah, we do. That would be fantastic.
Or we FaceTime every night and EP reads us a bedtime story, like a chapter every night.
We could do a chapter a day on video. Just me doing a video for the channel.
Or I could just talk and put people to sleep. So,
I've been just slapping myself in the face to keep myself awake.
I know.
I would consider buying that. I'd be really interested in some of the stories he probably has. I want to hear the pitch meetings that I'm sure people came into him with some of these crazy card ideas.
Yeah.
And he's like, screw it. Let's do it, because that's a lot of what the cards were.
Yeah, they really were. And,
we were talking about Pacific, and if you don't swing, you're not going to hit a home run. You're producing a lot of stuff, and some of it didn't hit. If you don't swing, you're not going to hit a home run. If you don't throw the football, you're not going to score a touchdown. If you're taking a sack, you're never going to score a touchdown. So if you keep producing the same looking chromium looking card every year, and you're never going to hit any home runs. So I feel like there's a lot of that. So to get, I love that we're getting these perspectives of these people. We talked about Dick Perez a couple weeks ago, and the Diamond King movie, and so there's I really want to see more and more of this. I want to hear about the Fleer Ultra story, I want to hear what when they decided to go from that 1991 look with the gray borders to the glossy with foil 92 stuff. I want to hear those stories, and I want to like Joe said, the pitch meetings and all those details.
So much of that stuff seems secretive. I don't, seems like it's like trade secrets that no one wants to give up.
Well, that's because there were companies competing back then.
Yeah, exactly.
But now they weren't just putting out the same product every year.
Right.
Yeah,
right. I want to hear playoff. Tell me about playoff. That would be an interesting one too.
Tell me about the time when somebody decided, hey, why don't we cut up a jersey and put it in this card? Tell me about the first meeting where they did that.
Right.
The guy at Upper Deck.
What?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Was it the
you want to cut up a Roberto
family?
Clemente jersey? Stuff like that.
Mick Williams was the guy who always signed the back of the Upper Deck autograph. Congratulations. And then I think it was.
I should know this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think he's passed away, but I'm sure there are stories out there of Upper Deck. Unfortunately, Upper Deck's still producing cards, so you're not going to probably get like the deep in-depth stuff. But yeah, this is going to be a cool book that EP is going to read to us.
Yeah. Well, I anxiously await that, EP. So excited for you to do that. All right. Well, that was an extra long podcast today. I think we'll wrap it up there. People can only take so much of us, right? But I will try to get Mike Cramer on the podcast.
Yeah, work on that. If you could get Mike Cramer on the podcast,
awesome.
I'll
try. Cool. I'll try to find
Why
a way
not?
to reach out to him. I mean, I'm sure other places will now steal that idea, but it's out in the universe. But if he wants to come on, I'd be happy to have him on. I guarantee you, no matter where he goes, he wouldn't have 3 guys that would be any more excited or friendly than us to have him on.
Send him all the clips of us waxing poetic about Pacific,
Right.
Literally,
Absolutely.
probably since episode 1.
Yeah. All right, guys, that was a fun chat this week. We'll wrap it up there, and I will see you next week. Take care.
Adios.